decided that this trivia segment is now going to be AFL related trivia. So here we go. Who
Cool.
kicked the first ever AFL goal for the Gold Coast Suns?
Charlie Dixon.
Correct. I thought it would take a little bit longer to get that, and then you didn't. So that's fine. Who kicked the first for the Giants then?
Callum Ward, wasn't it?
I reckon you're right on that too. Fuck, it was. Shit. All right, well, that was easy. Anyway.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the glass table. We are here and we're doing what we do best, fronting up and showing up after losing.
Fronting
Jared,
up and showing up, unlike our fucking football teams.
yeah, well, at least yours looked okay in patches and scored over 100 points.
That's a good
Mine
one.
went home at halftime.
Let me tell you, I started watching Port North from the second quarter. I actually don't think I looked at the team, and like I didn't watch the whole game. I watched it like in patches before the Saints Steelers game. I don't reckon I looked up at the TV and saw Port actually with the ball in their hands like once. I flicked it on up right before Saints Steelers game, and I was like, "Oh, let's see how this is going." And I watched North kick 3 goals in a minute, I reckon, and I went, "Yeah, right, okay, that's fucking right,
Mm.
interesting."
So, what I gather from that is it's your fault that we lost because as soon as you
Apparently
turned it
so.
on, you decided to turn to shit. And that's what you give me. Well, to be fair, I turned the Saints on and it was a goal fest, and the result didn't exactly go the way that I was anticipating. And some would say that Naz is still sitting on the bench waiting to come back on.
BT was fucking angry about that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was,
God,
wasn't
he
he?
was ropeable. He was a ropeable man, let me tell you. Yeah, look, it's not been a great weekend for both our football teams. If you haven't seen the pair review, it's around here somewhere. I'm going to assume it'll be up the top, somewhere around here. If you haven't seen the Saints review, it's in my nightmares, so you're never going to see it. And and that's all we're going to talk about it. So it's nice, it's nice to be a part of the weekend. It's nice to be able to go through it, and yeah, footy.
Some would say that we're quite fitting, actually. Back to reality. Yeah,
It's very good.
yeah. Oh, well, it is what it is. So, how about we cheer ourselves up and talk about something stupid sexy?
Yeah.
Woo!
Stupid sexy.
Right. Stupid sexy, round one. We know that this segment has taken some fine tuning. We've done people, we've done players, we ran out of them, and then we decided to do Guernseys and other different things and moments. Ran out of them. So now we're just going with whatever the fuck gets us aroused.
Whatever we want.
So
Yeah.
you go first. What's aroused you and made you stupid sexy this week?
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about taking your mind away from the St Kilda game, but I'm going right back to the St Kilda game, but I'm looking at the other side of things and looking at Melbourne. I wanted to just put the way that Melbourne play footy as the thing because they look so much fun. And I said this I think I said this before. I was like, I think we're discounting Melbourne, and like I feel pretty accurate in my statement. They look so much fun on Sunday. We're gonna put that, but I want to highlight one guy in particular because he just keeps on getting it done. And I tell you what, I feel like I've been watching this guy play footy my entire life, or at least all my waking hours. And every single time that we have played Melbourne, this guy has taken the absolute piss out of us. Max Gorn,
Mm.
no matter what you can do to try and change the game to suit the young athletic ruckman, no matter what you do to try and take the big boys out of it, Max Gorn says, fuck you. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And like it got to a point on the weekend where I was like, we've got to stop kicking it to the guy. He's the tallest player on the field. It's not that hard to kick it a different direction, but he's just everywhere. And he was so good on the weekend. And he just continues to be great, Max Gorn. You can't doubt him. I think if he's not already, which I think he probably is. I think he's the greatest ruckman of all time. And he's arguably the best demon of all time. The living piss once again on Sunday.
It's good. It's good. He, yeah, yeah. We could ban Ruckman and he'd still somehow find a way to dominate.
It's still be all Australian. It's still fucking win the DSB and airfields. It's still be everywhere.
You're absolutely right in the fact that I feel like I've been watching Max Gorn in all of my waking hours. Um, and I remember him as a young tacker appearing on the Footy Show saying, and he introduced me to what was called the clean snap. So he's come a long way, Gorny, and it's nice to see him continue on. And they just somehow find a way to do it. And I never thought I'd say it, but yeah, the D's are fun. So I agree with everything you said there.
Yeah, they're just a lot of fun, and I love him just as an individual. He's a great footballer. He's very funny. He's a very funny guy. Like you said, clean snap. I always think of that's Ruckcraft. Like I just think of that. I think of the massive
Well, it's
punch out of the
craft.
middle that time. I think of like the huge just fucking belting. The umpire's like, he didn't need to do that. Like, he's got some good moments going in, but yeah, he was incredible on the weekend, and it was great to see that. Just yeah, I mean, it was bad for my team, but great to see him still doing great stuff.
It was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, what's your stupid sexy of the week?
Yeah, well, I didn't have to look too far, and there was a lot of great results, and we thought we'd talk about all those in different parts of this episode. So I decided to go with something that's only going to be mentioned once and once only, and it was probably the only positive thing they did for their fans and everything for the football club last week. And I talk about Port Adelaide's fully charged gather round Guernsey. This is a piece of art, artistry at its best. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. And I bought everything part of that range and then some. And the club continues to drain my bank account from my membership and for merchandise and continue to disappoint me. But at least I'll have this, right? At least I'll be able to hold on to this. I can wear it and just be like, right, at least I'm wearing something good, you know?
Yep.
So I'm very excited, and it looks absolutely beautiful. And yeah, probably one of the best Guernseys of the year so far.
It's beautiful. I think I said it in the TikTok I did during the week, but there have been some good jumpers early, and I know the Lions have been teasing another one for there as well, and I think it's the gather round jumper for them, but I think they go on the old school logo on the front, the old school Fitzroy logo on the front. That's
Oh,
gonna be real. That's gonna be a close. Actually, I was gonna say a close third because the Port one is incredible. I still think the Essendon Anzac one is fucking just incredible. One of the best jumpers I've ever seen in my life. But there have been some banging jumpers, and that Port one, I love it. Like I said it in the thing as well. The AFLW team have had a primarily teal jumper for a while as their away jumper, and I think that looks really great. So it was very nice to see the boys lean into a bit of gather round stuff. And it's one of those jumpers where I feel like it starts as a gather round jumper and then it could slowly sort of make its way into the rotation. Is a bit more of a more used jumper. Like, the Saints did that a couple of years ago with the candy stripe. They brought it in for one round with a retro, and then everyone loved it. They're like, oh, okay, we'll sneak it back in a little bit and things. So I would not be surprised to see a lot more of that Port jumper in the future.
yeah, and they have a long sleeve for it too. And let me tell you, it wasn't the only thing fully charged. The
Very
battery
good.
was at 100%. I don't really want to explain myself, but I hope you get it.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, fully charged right in my pants. Anyway, so that was stupid sexy. If you've got a stupid sexy player or performance or Guernsey or anything, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts on round one, which was Jared Thomas. Another fucking failure. I don't want footy to be back anymore. I'm sick of it. Right? I've had enough. It's just dumb. It's stupid. Why do we follow 23 blokes every single week and they dictate my mood every single time? It's ridiculous. Bring back cricket, right? There's less people on the field, which means less disappointment.
Yep, that works actually. That works a lot better. It's like if you follow golf for some reason. You're not that disappointed if your favorite golfer doesn't win a thing because you go, it's all right, there's only one of you.
Correct.
Whereas when there's
Right?
23 of them, You go, come on, boys, lift.
Let me explain how bad my Sunday was. And yours is incorporated in this because simply the Saints lost. Got up, worked, did my job, very excited, couldn't wait. I've had a good feeling. Watched what was arguably the worst performance I've ever seen. The car does not have any fucking keys in it. Then I saw the Saints and I was like, well, fuck, that's going to be a disappointment. And then I watched F1 in China. Oscar Piastri didn't even start again. So that's how well this year is going. It's not even starting. Right? There's a bit of synergy in that, isn't there? Oscar Piastri didn't start his car, and neither did Josh. So, and the Saints haven't got going yet either. That's all I'm going to say about it. But I think round one was two parts. Really close affairs or utter fucking beltings.
That was literally what it was. We've coined a bit of a term here, the stiff arm game, where it gets out to about five
Mm-hmm.
goals and no one ever really gets any closer. Didn't really have any of those this week.
No,
We just had
no.
like close ones that were battles, or we just had absolute beltings, and it was never really any fun having the sort of anything. Although, like, to be fair, some of those close games were a lot of fun. Richmond Carlton is always great every year. They never disappoint, Richmond Carlton, and it was as good as ever with the theatre of Tom Lynch just deciding that Carlton was going to win that game. he decided on the night that Carlton was going to win that one, and all those kinds of things. But then you saw some absolute fucking beltings around it, and you're like, oh, okay, like the Dogs might actually be a little bit too good. Essendon are still shit. The Port, we've obviously spoken about. West Coast, Gold Coast was about what we're expecting. Actually, a smaller margin than I thought I was expecting, to be completely honest with
Mm.
you. There's just, yeah, it's what I've found so far is it's pretty predictable. Everything seems pretty predictable right now. In like, there's been a few obviously like the D's getting up over the Saints. That's probably an upset. Adelaide maybe beating Collingwood, but even still not really. The Lions going 0-2 maybe, but like everything's been pretty just calm. And I know it's still very early, but very interesting.
Mm. And I, I think we're seeing the change in effect of the rules and everything like that because
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much every side, barring um, like two games on the weekend, the winning side scored over 100 points. So it's
it
very
was yeah.
fast flowing, good footy, and like we had those good games. Like I think the Saints game was arguably the game of the round. Um, the Blues Tigers game was arguably the worst best game ever.
Loved it.
It was horribly good. And then yeah, you look at around the park, it's like teams were like, oh, um, Brisbane and Port were just lingering but never really got going. And then the Crows upset after one good quarter of footy, and it's like, yeah, there's I think it's predictable, but it's not predictable in a way it's like, all right, I'm gonna get 9 out of 9 tips. It's very much once you get momentum and things go your way, that's it. That's probably the game. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that or not. Every team that sort of was lingering around potentially winning, there was never really a sense of a comeback or anything like that, which was kind of disappointing. But also, you're not going to get that every week.
No, and that's the thing. Like, it is still obviously very early. There's some games this week that like I pretty much won't even slightly touch on. One of them being Gold Coast West Coast because I watched precisely 0 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I made the decision this year that I'm not watching games that I don't care about, and I didn't care about that game because who did? Who actually did, to be honest. But the Saturday games, I think, like, we came into the Saturday with all this excitement and all this, happiness about like, oh, look how good this slate of games is going to be. And then the Dogs just took the piss out of the Giants, and we kind of went, oh, all right, well, that's a bit deflating, isn't
It
it?
sucked the life out of Saturday, didn't it? Super
Yeah,
Saturday
it
became
just
Slander
it really,
Saturday.
yeah, really deflated the rest of the day, which is fine. I mean, Cats Frio was obviously a lot of fun. It was good to see a rocking sort of Cats team going again. Jeremy Cameron doing what he does best. Those kinds of guys. So still very interesting. But yeah, I think I'm hoping that the rest of the rounds to come have that sort of momentum. But it just feels like I'm resigning myself to the fact already. It's like, all right, well, Suns and Swans are going to be in the top four. Like, yeah, I feel like I shouldn't know that already at this point of the year. Like, I feel like it should be like more of a thing. But like, I can almost like Dogs, Suns, Swans. I can pretty much like pencil those guys in for prelims. Like, unless something absolutely catastrophic happens, like I think those guys are going to go all the way. So, yeah, it's kind of it's interesting to start the year.
Yeah, but we say that and then we buy in, and then something unpredictable does happen, and that is footy. This isn't. Yeah, I think AFL is kind of a thing where it's unique in that sense, whereas one team can start really hot and everyone's like, right, that's it, it's over, and then next thing you know,
Yep.
another team comes from nowhere. Adelaide looked pretty damn good. I think Geelong, Freo somehow put on a great affair, and like you said before, don't discount the D's, and you even look at it and it's like, oh, what what the fuck's that? Like this is it's just weird how footy works. But in that sense, on the same page, I've also written down the Swans and the Dogs are going to run it back. 10-year
Yep.
anniversaries is 2016. I'm locking it in. I'm all for it. It's aesthetically pleasing in crowd colours.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
also two heavyweights in terms of talent. Unbelievable. And I would absolutely love it. And I'm very much resound to the fact that Port are going to be shit. So I might as well just throw these two out there.
May as well just support the league as a whole. I absolutely agree, and I also like both those teams. I like
Hmm.
Sydney. I like what they do. I like the way their team is built. Sucks that Errol's out, by the way. That happened like not that long ago. 4 months out, Errol Goulden. That fucking sucks.
Yeah. Seems to
Hate
be a
that a
yearly
lot.
occurrence.
Yeah, I love that guy, and I hate that he's getting injured all the time because I think he's so good. And I love the
And it
dogs. I love everything about them too. So
also sucks for Errol because everyone in their super coach and fantasy teams just literally gone. This fucking sucks.
yep. I had him in my super coach team immediately. I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna have to be a new midfielder for me. So
Yeah.
welcome, Caleb Strong. Hope you enjoy. But yeah, I just I'm intrigued by it. But I absolutely agree. And one of the teams that I did want to highlight this week is the Dogs, and we saw it against the Lions, and people were like, man, that's a great win at the Gabba. Like, how good's that? Let's see what they can do. The Dogs have been at the best of times very inconsistent over the last couple of years. They've been, that team that'll be absolutely storming home in a thing and then lose to West Coast and be sent on finals. Like they are that team kind of thing. So to see them not just back it up against the Giants, but convincingly back it up and like having all their stars fire again, they're really good. The Dogs. Kane Corns is right. They're really, really, really good.
Yeah. They just have like, and their one thing that I thought was gonna hurt them a little bit, their defense. It's improved. It's sound.
Butterick,
It's
yeah.
nice.
Butterick's there now. Roy
It
Love's
looks.
playing still really good footy.
It's yeah, and them at Marvel, I think this is going to be virtually unstoppable.
They I noticed this. I was playing golf on the weekend and I was like, all right, let's check it in the fucking Dogs Giants. Flicked it on, saw Aaron Norton kick two in a minute, and I went, yeah, right, okay, it's good then. And basically was like, whatever. But I had this feeling in my head of like they're playing in like the lab of footy, which is like Marvel, which is like means there's no wind. It's always going to be dry in there, and for the Dogs to be really successful and really dominate, they want that perfect condition footy. And fuck, they look good in it. Like they look really good in it. And the Bont is still the Bont, still doing crazy things. Like 33-3. That is like, come on, man.
Bond game.
It's just a Bont game. Norton's kicking six. Libba had 29 and a goal. Tim English is one of the best ruckmen in the comp this year, and I love what he's doing. Jax is really good. They're rookie. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck, there's a bit going on. And they made the Giants look slow, which is the thing that the Giants. I said this literally last week. I said the Giants made Hawthorn look slow, which is what they shouldn't look like. And now this week, I'm like, the Dogs made the Giants look slow. So I'm like, fuck, I don't. Who's actually
yeah.
fast in this anymore? I don't know. So yeah, it's a lot.
My exact point where I am petrified of the Dogs is I think it was halfway through the second quarter, perhaps, or maybe the third, and I see Marcus Bontempelli hit up a galloping Sam Darcy, and he just picks it up one hand and is running around for fun. It's not even mark and kick; it's just he's galloping like he is. He's taking those big steps. He is just moving, and it's like, oh boy, it's oh no, it's dangerous. It's disgusting. And when Aaron Norton's kicking them from everywhere, Like they kicked 21 goals, 8 on the weekend. They played the perfect Marvel game, in my
They played the
opinion.
perfect game of footy. I think the Dogs. I think people are underestimating just how good this game of football was with the Dogs. They played almost the picture perfect game of football that you could possibly ever play. Like it was obscene. They just look so good, and like I said, every one of their stars fired. They were kicking them from everywhere. Like the perfect way you can explain it is you look at the bottle, like you look through the stats and everything like that. You look at the guys that didn't do all that much for the Dogs: O'Donnell, Lewis, Selwood, Hines. They're all the young guys. They're all the guys that don't have to do that much. They're all the guys that are there to get the experience to try and play a bit of footy. O'Donnell's a key back; he doesn't have to get the footy anyway. Like they are all the guys that that should be not that high up. And so the Dogs are just like everyone is doing amazing. All of their stars are doing exactly what they need to do, and it's a lot of fun. It's really
Mm,
good.
yeah, they play a brand of football that might actually destroy the competition. And I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I genuinely think they are probably the favourites at the moment.
Oh, big early goal. I like it.
Yeah, you see the Suns and they've dominated two different teams in the Cats and obviously the Eagles, so it's hard to judge. And it's the same sort of the Swans. They played, the premiership side in Brisbane. They really ran them right, even though the Lions had 4 or 5 blokes out. And then, they beat Carlton last week. So it's hard to grasp, I think. But with the Dogs, they've come up against a fully pledged Brisbane outfit. And then they've come up against a Giants outfit that has the star power. They are missing a few players, but they've just come off a great win against Hawthorn. And it's like the proof's in the pudding. They can play anywhere. And I think the Dogs were sort of a Marvel based and maybe get a win or two on the road. And that's what their point of difference was.
Yep.
Now, in the first 2 games I've seen them play, they've gone, all right, we'll win at the Gabba, no worries. Happy days.
Bang.
Then we'll
Tick
go
that
back to
off.
Marvel. And then we're going to pump the side that beat Hawthorn by 30 points last week and put 15 goals on them. So, and you've got their best players playing thoroughly as well. So I'm all in and
Yeah.
I'm scared.
You're absolutely right. Like the last thing on the Dogs, like you said it before, like their backline that was always kind of the worry. They have stood up massively in the last couple of games. The Dogs backline. Jake Shrew kicked 5 last week, and he had 5 touches total this week. Jesse Hogan has won a gold medal. He had 10 touches, didn't kick a goal. Like that's a you get back in the rooms, and I reckon the first thing Luke Beveridge just said, obviously, you give your props to Bont, you give your props to English, you give your props to Norton and Darcy. But I reckon the first thing that Luke Beveridge would have done when he got in the rooms was fucking shout out those key defenders because they dominated. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a good pairing, and they made them look second fucking rate. So well done to the Dogs.
Then one thing, you talk about stars and we move on from the Dogs because if we keep talking them any higher, they'll probably lose next week to Adelaide and that'll be a whole different
Yeah,
story
absolutely.
again, won't it? They'll look pie on our face. But I wanted to mention that I wrote this down last night and it sort of happened last week and it's happened again this week. And I've noticed it's not just these two, but I'm going to use these two as examples. I feel like clubs underutilize the tag because they're scared that it won't work and they're just pretty much losing a player for that, right? And I understand that it's a tactic you really want to employ, and I know there's taggers right across the board that are decent, Mullen, Drew, to name a few, and everything like that. But I've noticed that when these tags have actually been applied, they work, and even on the biggest
Yeah.
stars, and everyone comes out and the experts say, oh. He's untaggable, this and that. I watched Zach Butters get tagged by a second-year Finn O'Sullivan and have 1 touch for the third quarter. Last week, I watched Naz predominantly play forward, but he was tagged out of the game.
Out of the game. Yeah, absolutely.
And whilst he didn't have a major impact, well, he still kicked 3 goals yesterday. It was essentially nullified in the sense of he's not having his 35, 30 touches. And they're 2 examples of, I think, the up and coming players that we have, they still don't know how to deal with it. And I think clubs are sort of brushing this off in a sense that this tag conundrum that's happening at the moment is a tactic that's going to win you games of footy. And I'm not going to say that Butters, if he had 11 touches in the third quarter yesterday against North, um, was going to win Port the game. But those 10 touches extra that he had could have set up something, could have changed momentum. And it's just these little things. And I just think with tagging, I hate it. I absolutely hate tags. Like, I just think it's ridiculous and it's stupid. It's ridiculous in a sense that you are sacrificing a player's game to sacrifice someone else's. And if it doesn't work, you're gonna get hurt. But I'm surprised clubs don't do it more often. And I know some players are harder than others, but it's doable.
I think it's starting to come back a little bit more now. I think
Mm.
last year people gave a lot of shit to like Ross Lyon for employing Windy as a tagger, and it was like, oh, that's bloody ruining the game, whatever. But now I think the people who realize it, Craig McRae never used to tag ever. And this year he was like, oh, we should probably start playing a tagger. I think everyone does it now. And I'm probably more okay with it. I think it's a position where I don't think like an out and out tagger, not to absolutely just throw absolute shit at Finn McGuinness, right? But he can't play football, right? He doesn't really know how to do that. He is a tagger, right? I don't think that kind of tagger is the way to go about it. I think the type like a Finn O'Sullivan, the type like a Marcus Windhager, the type like even like a Perryman that can find their own footy as well at the same time, that works. I think that is the type of tagger that can work because it's a bit of an art form and it works. Like you said, it clearly works. Butters was out of it. And you're absolutely right. Some players can get through it. Bont knows how to get through a tag very well. Dusty always knew how to get through a tag. That was always, that was how they were just very
I'm
impactful
for
players. Yeah, exactly right. And Naz is starting to do that kind of thing. Like you said, he was pretty much tagged out of the midfield, which is great. Obviously, Naz is now sort of developing the ability to really still have an impact up forward, which I think is important. I think that's something that Butters, if he can do more of this year, I think that's something that he's going to try and really work hard towards is learning how to be a forward when he needs to be. But
it.
I think it's still important. I think it's a still important role. And it's good for a young guy as well. I think you look at the likes of Finn O'Sullivan, Colton Thelstrup did it to Naz on the weekend. Great for a young guy to learn because it's literally like a learning curve. It's like go out there and run around with the best player and see what he's doing, kind of thing. So I think it works really well.
Definitely. And yeah, it's just a personal opinion on tagging, whether or not you like it or hate it, because you hate to see the best players sort of get nullified in their
Yeah.
truest form. But like you said, it's an art form, and it's the ability to help your team find a different avenue to shut the other team down. And if you're doing that and you're having an impact, and you look at North's, I use North Melbourne midfield as an example because I think that was probably the best tag on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
is Davies Uniacke, Sheasel, these likes, they had a massive impact. Colby McKercher came back into the game because of the opportunity he had to get the footy. And they were
Yep.
just that second quarter where they kicked three on the fly was all from the centre clearances. And there was no Butters there. Horn Francis was underutilized, but he probably can't play because of the limited minutes that he's got. And it's just one of those things where all of that trickles down. If Butters can't do it, then your best player is not playing as well. Then the mental aspect of it
Their
is
mindset.
trickles
Absolutely.
down. And was like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? And you have to be very strong to one, break the tag, and two, have the ability to um, still influence the game in other areas. And yeah, I think it's one of those things to keep watching this year because you talk about these big players and their big opportunities, and there's only two at the moment that I think are untaggable properly, and that's Dacos and Bont.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Those two. I mean, Dacos we've seen struggle with tags over the years, but like, you're absolutely right. Like, he had to learn to get through that. At the start, he wasn't very good at getting through tags, but now,
Correct.
now he's figured it out, and he's very, very good. Bont is obviously one of those. There's a couple, and they played in the first game of the week that I think are going to be heading towards that area of like teams are going to start putting some effort into them, and one of them is Jagger Smith, and the other one is Sam Lawler. Who they're both obviously very young and developing, same draft class, but they're both making their ways into it. But seeing them run around on the weekend, and I loved the AFL's graphic before the game was great, where it was like Lawler and Smith sort of standing, and it was like the new era of this rivalry, and I fucking love that because I'm like they are two very good footballers, and I love both of them. What I love about them, it's what I love the most about the game of footy. I think is that you can be good, but in very different ways. Jagger Smith is great in the I can get the ball way, Lawler is the I'm great in I can just impact contest to contest and be that real massive impact player, and that's what we've seen across like so many different ways. It's why like it's why it's so hard to pick like a greatest of all time because everyone's so good at different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these two players are both so amazing, but they're so good at different things. And you come out of that game, and you're just like, I love everything about both these guys. And I think Jagger's going to get a fair bit of attention, probably not this year, or maybe towards the end of it, but Jagger's going to start to get that attention because he keeps racking up the footy. And Lawler, I think, might only be ahead of him in that step by the fact that he already knows how to play forward. Jagger's got to learn to move himself around a little bit soon, I think, which is going to be really interesting to see. But I loved watching these two guys go at it on Thursday.
They were exceptional to watch in their own different ways. And I think you're absolutely right. They're the future of what Carlton and Richmond will be. And it's already just a side quest on that point is the fact that this, I still firmly believe that this should be the opening game of the year every single year.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
It's always good. Never disappoints.
The stories that come from this game, regardless of who you support, are very interesting. And like you say, Lawler and Smith are two developing stars, and in their own right, they're going to be massive for each of their football clubs. And I just wanted to say that I really think it should be mentioned, but Lawler spinning out of the pack, putting that goal through was Dusty like. It was stupid sexy. It was unbelievable to view. And I love the kid. And it's upsetting that he didn't have a full year last year because I think him on the back with the number 4 on the back, and it's just gonna Richmond are gonna be one of those teams as well that they will buy in on their youth, and if they have a shit day, they have a
I think
shit
they're going to
day.
get good quick. I think they're going to be
Yeah,
like their rebuild's going to have a real fast track to it because they not only do they have very talented young players, but they all buy in and they all seem to just be loving playing footy with each other, kind of thing. And I fucking love everything about it. And Lawler is the leader of that, absolutely.
makes you want to go to the footy, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. It was so funny. I was like sitting watching TV with Jenny on Thursday night, and they said on the commentary like "Baby Dusty," and Jenny was just like, why do they call him Baby Dusty? I was like, look at him. Take one look at him and tell me why they call him Baby Dusty. She was like,
I
yeah, fair
said to you, and I'll say it again to everyone. It's literally like, yeah, look at him. If he comes back next preseason with tattoos on his neck and just shaved head completely and looks like Dusty, the game's
He's
gone.
back.
It's done. It's over.
Absolutely.
It's
He's back.
finished. He's reincarnated.
Yep.
And I'll just buy a Richmond membership.
Because they're going to be so good. Yeah, it freaks me out. They have a very good one in Bloody Lawler, and I'm very excited about it. I just think it was good to watch. Obviously, they didn't get the win in Richmond, but it always does great. The Tom Lynch stuff is just so funny. Like, it's so funny to me. His whole thing, because the fact is he actually probably played a really great game of football. It's just that his final efforts were so bad. But everything else he did was fucking amazing. And it like you said, one extra one of those goals and they win the game, Richmond. But like seeing like Cripper and Voss like celebrate wildly at the end, it's like, please everybody calm down. like that's one of those ones you win the game and you just go, thank fuck. Like that's a just sort of like take a breath kind of operation rather than anything else.
It's a hard thing to sort of do, isn't it? The emotion and the adrenaline of being part of a win like that, you're going to celebrate it regardless. To me, it's like, yeah, celebrate, show the emotion, but I really, really hope you come out next week and put on a performance where you use that momentum of a win, and that would have been shackles off the back. The club was basically, the fans were back to what they were doing last year and after the Swans loss, and to come into this week and win against Richmond where they were up considerably amount again and nearly happened all over again like last year.
And literally, I was getting mad deja vu watching that game. I was like, fuck, I've been here before.
I mean, I've seen this movie before. Like it's I thought it was quite interesting, but I don't mind the celebrations. I just think maybe it depends how you take it. You can take it any way you like, but to me, it came off a bit of an acceptance of maybe this is where we're at, we're
Yeah.
fighting with Richmond, and I generally think if you put them against any other side along the weekend, barring West Coast and Port, I don't think they're winning a game. I
No,
think they're
no,
they're losing. So
not that one. Yeah.
um, yeah, quite interesting. But regardless, I'm happy. The crowd was happy, and people went to the footy, which was the main thing. And that sort of leads into something I wanted to bring up because I saw this today. We talk about footy and crowds, and everyone be excited. Did you like? The crowds were down 50,000 people because they forecast it to be a lot more than anticipated. Did you feel like the excitement for round one was there? How did you feel coming into this week? Because personally for me, I was, I think based on your own team and everything, and obviously you played the week before, so it's kind of hard. But from a general point of view, I didn't really feel like it was round one.
No, I think I'm with you on that. And like my team is probably part of the problem, to be honest. There used to be something in like obviously with opening round and everything like that. Even when opening round was happening in the last couple of years, I still said to myself, I can't wait for that first MCG game. Like I can't wait. Richmond Carlton Thursday. It's gonna be great kind of thing. And then even this year, because there was that earlier MCG game, I was kind of like, still exciting, but like it's not the first time I'm seeing the G in all its glory kind of thing because I saw it last week. So I don't know. And it wasn't even just that. Like I just felt like there was like yeah, sort of a bit of an emptiness. Yeah, like I think that's part of it as well. The crowds were down. Like I think I was expecting more at Hawks Essendon, probably even expecting more at Collingwood Adelaide, and that was like still a decent crowd for Collingwood versus Interstate team. But like I felt like there was just a lot of not much happening. And yeah, it just feels like I think it's an opening round thing. It feels like there's not much, and there's been a lot of stuff about tickets and ticketing at the moment, and they've been shutting off games for general admission and stuff like that, and making them fully ticketed events, which like I think is just ridiculous. So it's strange. It didn't really feel like round one. Um, Maybe it's just because like the seasons are starting early, or they feel like they're starting earlier, so I feel like I'm not in the mood for footy yet, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it hasn't felt entirely like I'm ready to go footy kind of thing. So it's interesting. I think when like local footy and stuff starts back, that's when I start to be a bit more like, yeah, this is real footy season. Like the weather gets a bit colder, those kinds of things. But yeah, usually I think I'm a bit more excited about round one, but this one wasn't as much, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I can attest to that too. I think once you're playing footy and you're out watching footy and everything's going on all at once, so everything sort of culminates into the footy's on. That starts to feel. I think it's maybe that jitterness of opening round into round one, and then once you get into two, three, four, it also hurts that you go into round two. You've tried to build momentum for the season, and then four clubs have a bye this week.
Yeah, yeah, and
Like
then there's like more after that. It's so bizarre.
you have a fixture that's so interrupted and stop start and all begins because of opening round. It's all a fallout from opening round. And I'm still going to firm on this. And I look at the crowds from the weekend. Carlton Richmond were below 75,000. Essendon Hawthorn hit 71,000. We're playing a game at Marvel with the Dogs and GWS, and you have only 28,000 there. And there's 28,000 at GMHBA, which now holds 40,000, and then you've got the SCG, which was buzzing. I think 38,000 is a good crowd there. Collingwood, Adelaide, I think I probably would have expected more. 62,000 there was. And
Yeah.
North Melbourne Port is just a dead rubber at 1240. So you're going to get 23,000. Saints, Melbourne, I thought was actually a pretty decent crowd. Looked quite
Yeah, there's
good
more
for
there than I thought there was going to be. Yeah.
44 and a half, which was nice. And then Gold Coast, West Coast, you're going to get 13,000 up. But I think culmination of things with the whole this I guess downward spiral in terms of footy interest is it's an earlier time of the year. I think the matchups for round one were a little bit wrong.
Mhm.
I think opening round hurts any sort of momentum you get from other clubs. And I generally believe that the fixturing is part of a massive issue that's happening in footy right now. And I don't think the invested interest of having um these matchups that they've had and everything like that they've put on the table. And I know the AFL will still think, oh, revenue. And then you've got like people missing out on games because they're free to air or 3 hours later, and it's just
Yeah.
you've got the whole interest rates and everything like that. I don't want to get political or any financial reason, but there's so many combining factors into this that no one ever takes into the account of the average punter, the average person that wants to go to the footy, take their kids. It's an
Yeah.
expensive trip. So I know ticket prices and everything like that were frozen, but I really find it there's a lot more than just, oh, you know, this is because of the times and stuff like that. Is it's such a bigger problem, and I'm glad it was raised. Thanks to the advertiser for that, because
I think it
uh,
is. No, I think it is a sort of worrying problem. In that I don't think as many people want to go to the footy anymore. And like I have also seen the counter argument, which is still true, in that AFL crowds compared to crowds around the world, compared to like, other crowds in our country, are amazing. You're never getting anywhere near these numbers for any other sport in the country, like even close to. Even our badly attended games are very well attended games in any other sport. And obviously, worldwide, we're still great with our attendance as well. So, like, I do get that. I do understand it is still very well attended. There's still a lot of people going to these games, considering the population in our country and all these kinds of things too. But I just think it's one of those things where, yeah, you're losing a bit of the magic, a little bit of footy, and in adding opening round, trying to equalize the league. And I raised this problem with with the wildcard stuff and everything like that. And trying to equalize the league and make it better for everybody, you're actually taking more teams out of contention than ever before. You know, with this fast paced, free flowing footy, with everyone kicking goals and stuff like that, the blowouts are just going to be even greater. Like the West Coast don't stand a chance ever anymore, really, with any free flowing footy. You used to be able to, if you were a shit team, you used to be able to maybe have a sniff if you just fucking held on in the back line, but you
mm,
can't do that anymore. Like you have to play at 100 miles an hour. And if you can't, you're going to get absolutely blown out of the water. So I think it's one of those things where, like, in trying to equalize the league and trying to make it more watchable, more viewable, it's actually killed teams, which then kills people wanting to go to games. Like, even the Northport one, you know, when I flicked it on, they were doing like a wide sort of stadium shot, and like they already had the top level down. And I understand North fans don't have a lot of desire to go to the footy anymore, but that's, I think, the issue is like the AFL are giving them no reason to want to go back because they're like, we're just going
mm.
to get belted every week. And then they ended up winning anyway. So North's next home game is probably going to be well better attended than this Port one. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think have destroyed a lot of interest in a lot of teams, and it's gonna probably hurt to come. I think.
Oh, 100% agree. I think it's just, yeah, it's the interest factor. That's why I mentioned matchups. I think
Yeah,
round one should be a bigger project than just, if they want to make opening round a success, then you've got to have invested interest for the rest. And it's like all these other teams are missing out. And then it's like, oh, you're having both Adelaide teams play away from home. There's no Adelaide Oval game. You're playing
yeah,
the smallest Sydney outfit in GWS against the Dogs at Marble. That's not really a matchup that's going to draw 40,000 people. You're having the two
Gold
first
Coast, West
games of the
Coast.
round be, yeah, Gold Coast, West Coast at the end of the round, and then you're having the first two games that are prime time be three of the bottom six last year, and then Hawthorn, who don't draw massive, massive crowds, but they're going to do enough. So it's like I don't think you can sit there and properly say that, oh, the crowds are down. Why? We're going to blame the people. No,
Yeah,
it's your own fault. You've dug
yeah,
your own
literally.
hole.
That's exactly my opinion. I don't know. I'm a little worried about it. Again, we are like very early in the year still. There's still a lot of time left for teams to get better and for it to be a more watching product and everything, this kind of stuff. But I do always worry because I'm like, I just want footy to be like watchable for everybody and for everyone to enjoy it. And like I like my one issue with the wildcard round is it's killed any hope for anybody from 6 and down to win a flag because you're not going to win 5 games in a row against top 8 or top 10 teams. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting, but hopefully there's going to be some improvements and everything like that. But other than that, yeah, it didn't really feel like round one to me personally.
Yep, yep, yep. Hey, but at least it counted as final, didn't it? Wild card round, but round one is done. So it may as well we roll into round two, which has four
That's
teams having
exactly
a
what I was about
bye.
to say. 4 teams with a bye, and to be fair, the matchups are a little bit better in this one, so that's always good.
How did Supercoach team go this week? Round one, by the
Supercoach team
way.
went very well. Great mentioning of picking that up. Supercoach team went well. Our league that we are in hasn't started their games yet, but those matchups will begin this coming week. So everybody get excited for that to begin. I scored a 2-2-3-6, which is pretty good for a round one beginning, with some rookies going very well and everything for me. So that was my total, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what we can do in the coming sort of weeks and how we go. I have, let me just tell you exactly the schedule. You, my friend, have the Flamingo Warriors straight off the bat,
My mother.
which is fantastic. I was
That's the
waiting
round one win,
for the
Mel.
reaction there,
Got
which is
that one.
beautiful. And I am playing the Barrel Unleashes, which has like a prison bars type thing. So I'm going to assume it's a pair fan that might watch this. So Joshua, Barrel Unleashes, I'll see you soon.
I scored
What about you?
22.82. So I was
Yep.
very happy with that. Um, yeah, unfortunately, the buys this week hurt me because three of my four top scorers this week pretty much are not playing. So that's fantastic. Shout out to Dan Houston, Nick Dacos, and Jagger Smith. But we'll obviously see what happens there. But I was very, very happy with that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting involved and getting an easy dub this week against my mother.
I already had to make a trade. I said at the start of the year, I was like, no sideways trades to start my year. We're only either going up or we're downgrading to save some cash. And I immediately had to sideways trade because Errol Gordon got injured. So thank you very much, Errol. Appreciate that. But it's not, I know it's your fault, Errol, and I'm sorry you're injured. So yeah, get better soon. But immediately had to sideways trade. So that's really cool. But I think that'll be the only trade that I make this week before the price changes, and obviously that can come in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, I got rid of a couple already, so I was very, very happy with that. I had to trade in a couple of players, so I have at least a full team. Obviously, the best 18 scored this week, so that's a
Yes.
little heads up there. But yeah, let's get into round two tipping because whilst it's four clubs not playing, and it still fucking pisses me off that there isn't. Some exciting games to come, and they've made it up for what round one started with two shit games, and I think we've got round two having two fucking belters to kick us off. For round
Yeah.
two, you're sitting on 9 tips. I'm sitting on 6, so poor start for me, but that's okay. We'll get straight into it. Thursday night footy, Hawks, Swans. Who are you tipping?
I'm very excited for this game. You're absolutely right. Two bangers to start the year. And this one I think is going to be incredible. The Hawks being $1.46 favorites is wild to me.
Mm.
Uh, Not saying that I don't think they should be favorites, even though I probably don't think they should be. But like that is a massive gap. $1.46 to 2.76. I'm not a betting man, but if you know, the Swans are very good. So I think this one's going to be amazing. I think it should be a good crowd at the MCG too. I know it's a Thursday night, so the crowd won't be as great, but Sydney have a big, strong South Melbourne contingent down here, and the Hawks fans are pretty up and about after last week as well. I'm going to tip the Swannies because I'm huge on them this year. And I've seen the Hawks get battered early on. I think people have very short memories. And they've forgot that the Hawks were made to look like shit against the Giants. So I think the Swannies are going to be great, even without Errol. I think the Swans are still going to be great. I think Isaac Heaney's going to take over, and Charlie's going to enjoy being back on the G. So it's going to be the Swannies for me, but it's going to be close. It's going to be by 10 points.
Yes, I like that. I hummed and hawed about this one while you're talking. Gave some great arguments. I think Isaac Heaney, whilst he had his, I think he's going to be missed this week. I reckon with his little hamstring
The
awareness.
hamstring. Yeah.
And I've got the bye the week after, so having a couple of weeks off after having a two ripper games might be worth it. So I can see why the Hawks are favourites, and I'm going to buy into that. I think there
Yep.
was something switched last week where the Hawks just looked exciting. They looked compelling enough, and I really like the mix of Watson, Ginnivan, McDonald, pretty much playing forward pockets into the midfield. You've got Dylan Moore, who looks very, very good. They're going to have Newcomb in there, and I think they've got the toughness. And if their forward line's on, Jack Gunson leads the Coleman at the moment. So I can see the Hawks getting up, and I'm going to tip them by 11.
Ooh.
So I'm going to buy into the old, try and get some roughies early and make up the tips. And if not, then settle for the favourites and hope for the best.
Yep, I like it.
Which would be good. But we roll in from a ripper on Thursday night to Friday night football. We're at the Adelaide Oval. First Adelaide Oval game of 2026. Crows v Dogs.
Footy's back at the Adelaide Oval, and we've got a great game. This is a great game to start off with, I think. The Crows looked good against Collingwood. Looked like a really solid team, did what they had to do. Their stars are going to fire again, but they are coming up against red hot Western Bulldogs team. And you made the joke before about the Dogs would absolutely come out and lose this, but I think that's the Dogs of yesteryear. I don't think they are like that anymore. I'm going to tip the Western Bulldogs. I just think they're big game players now. I like that win against Brisbane to me has just solidified them as they are fucking amazing. So I don't think they lose this one. They're still very healthy. Still got all their stars out there. I think they're going to win. Won't be by much though. I don't think. Won't be like the beltings that we've seen. Or the belting we saw last week. Obviously, it was close against Brisbane. I think it'll be more closer to the Brisbane one, and I think it'll be pretty close.
Yeah, I'm going to tip Adelaide. It's funny. I think Collingwood is going to be sort of a benchmark sort of operation here. So if you beat Collingwood, you're going to be better than them. And if you don't beat Collingwood, you're probably going to be under them. So sorry for St Kilda fans. But I think that barometer of beating Collingwood at the MCG sets you a standard where you're going to be good enough to contend this year. And they looked, I think, when they get their game going, and at the Adelaide Oval, Adelaide's a completely different beast.
They know how to do that, yeah.
So for the Dogs to win this, they're going to have to play better than they have in the first two games, in my opinion. And I just think Adelaide Oval will be too much for them. But if Darcy kicks 6 and Bont's having 30 and 3, then Adelaide have no hope. But Bont v Dorse is going to be a very interesting affair. Two very likable footballers. So I'm looking forward to that. But that is my tip. I'm tipping Adelaide, and we get to the MCG. Tigers are taking on the Suns. Typical fucking 12:45 Saturday game this one, isn't it?
Gonna be good. Suns are gonna win by about 75, I reckon.
Yeah.
God, they got the easiest run ever. There's nothing to really say about this game. Suns are doing it. And then they got the bye next week. So fucking bang, bang, bang.
Good time to be one of the 7 Suns fans. But yes, I'm tipping the Suns too. Giants Saints. Now this is the game for me where it dictates whether or not these two teams are going to finish wherever.
Yes, panic stations.
The Giants have a win on the board.
It is panic stations to whoever loses, I think.
I generally think whoever loses this game just is not even in contention for a wild card.
Yeah.
Well, that will be, but it's just going to be you have to win this. The Saints going 0-3 would just not be in anyone's books.
That's not even the stress of it. It's not even the Saints 0-3. It's 0-3 coming up against Brisbane the week after. That's what's like, oh no.
Yes. I will tip first because I know you're going to have some thoughts, but I think whilst I would think the Giants will be a lot more stronger back at NG, I think the Saints, they've still looked good enough. They've had enough. And to score still 16 goals last week, I don't know. They've got the star power to do it. And they might do it convincingly too. So I'm going to tip the Saints here.
Here's my theory. I'm going to tip the Saints as well. Part of what you said there, it's only been 2 goal losses both times. 12 points, 13 points. Haven't been out of it at all. And a couple of those disposals go right. A couple of marks get stuck. A couple of goals that should have been get kicked. And the Saints win both those games. We're then looking at the Saints at 2-0 and everyone's like, it worked. The off-season worked. If we got belted against Melbourne, absolutely it was cause for concern. I think everyone just needs to just chill a little bit. We didn't play good against Melbourne. That's an absolute fact. But I think that helps us a little bit. The fact that we played like shit and only lost by 2 goals, okay. Played all right there at NG at the end of the year last year. Players are going to start to build a little bit more. And I think, right when the Saints fans' hopes start getting lost, I reckon the Saints come through and they get a win here.
I think so. Yeah, I agree with that completely. I haven't liked the trend of how St Kilda have played this year because they've been pretty similar in both games. But regardless, I'm tipping him, and I'm a Saints member, so you better fucking win. We finish off Saturday night with what I thought was going to be a pretty boring game 2 weeks ago. Now it's going to be pretty interesting, isn't it? On Optus,
I was just thinking
the Fundies.
Exciting, actually a legitimately exciting game to watch. This one,
Mm.
this is the test for me. Like I said before the season started, right before I said, like, I think people are discounting the D's a little bit too much. And this is the test for me to be like, they might be okay. I'm not saying they're going to be like amazing, but like there is always a team that surprises in every year. And I think Melbourne could absolutely be that team. So this is going to be a real great test for them.
I think so, but I'm tipping Freo because it's at Optus. If this was at the G, then I'm tipping the D's. But it
Yeah.
could be a fun game, and I think the Dockers, whilst they had that unfortunate loss to the Cats, we haven't really spoken about that. But you know, I, I think they were good, and they just got overrun by a GMHBA category. That's what always happens down there. So, yeah, the Dockers for me.
Yeah, and I don't think Alex Pearce lets Jacob Van Rooyen kick 6 goals. So that's what I think. That's what I think happens there. So I'm tipping Freo as well. But I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think Melbourne will definitely show some flashes, and Cozzy will do what he does best as always.
I think it's square.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Back at the Adelaide Oval, Power versus Bombers.
I'm going to keep
This
this nice and
is.
simple for you. Put Adelaide winning this game. Over to you.
Yeah, I'm tipping us. What I think for me was the point of difference here is again back at the Adelaide Oval and everything like that. But
Yep.
I just have a thing. This is Port Adelaide, right? This is not just it's Josh Carr coaching now. This is Port Adelaide we're
Yep.
talking, and we get rinsed, ridiculed, called soft in the media, and all of a sudden we come out the next week and just go, yeah, here's a fucking tough beating for you. And it's just going to happen. It'll happen again. I have firm belief. I am that
Yep.
confident we'll win this game against the Bombers outfit, who looked fun for a quarter.
It looked okay for maybe half a quarter and then died for the rest of it.
So I think it'll be a fun game. I don't think it'll be a belting, but I think this will be a fun game. But I think Port at home, in front of the faithful, right off whatever that was last week and go, right, now we start. We'll continue on.
Yep.
Which leads me perfectly into the next game. North West Coast.
The Shithouse Cup for the 5th year running. I love when these two teams play together. It's so much fun because it's always the worst. And the amount of times I've looked at this ladder when they play each other, and it's always 17th versus fucking 18th. And the fact that I'm looking at it right now and it's 4th versus 18th is so funny to me. Very funny. However, the West Coast Eagles are going to win this game. I am not a believer. I'm not a believer in the North Melbourne Football Club. I'm
Shit
not a
report.
believer. I'm not a believer. I don't believe in them. I don't.
West
I
Coast.
simply do not believe in North Melbourne.
Do you simply not believe, or you refuse to believe it's
I
finally
refuse to
changed?
believe because I've seen them be so shit for so long. And I know I could say this absolutely about both teams here. I absolutely could. But North Melbourne did this shit last year and people forgot about it. People forgot that last year in round 2, North Melbourne absolutely beat the piss out of Melbourne. Destroyed them. And all of a sudden it was, here comes North, the new North Melbourne. And then they lost 16 games in a row. I've been here before. West Coast are going to win.
I'm tipping North, but I find it very funny that your reasoning is so properly accurate. But
That's what I'm saying. I've been here before.
all right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing this, and I'm definitely going to clip farm this if this eventuates into you getting a tip right.
I've posted it everywhere. I was right. Fuck you, North Melbourne. No, I want North to be good. That's what I'm saying. It annoys me that they're not. That's why I have no faith in them though, because I'm like, you try to tell me you're good every year, and then you just don't, and you don't do it. So I don't have any faith. West Coast, they're the Weeks.
uh, yeah, that's amusing to me. I'm going to tip North, and I'm believing. Yeah,
Okay.
I've got no further comment on that, which is very, very funny. Anyway, to wrap up, I just thought I'd run through something that I'm following with a keen eye this year, Mr. Thomas, and that's the goal counter.
Yes.
This year, there's a bold prediction that over 700 goals would be kicked in 2026 by the top 10 in the Coleman. So the target's 700. We're currently at 71 after round one. So I think
two
that's
rounds of 25. So you're about a tenth of the way through the
I'm a
season,
tenth
and you're at
there.
71.
Correct. So I'm looking fantastic. And if the bulk of goals that were kicked on the weekend continue on, I'm very, very excited. Jack Gunston leads the way with Ben King, both on 9. And Joel Amati and Aaron Norton both sit on 8. Four big bastards.
Four just big fucking units rolling
Big,
around.
bustling Barry's right there. And then I'm looking at, their first games. Jacob Van Rooyen kicked 6. He's played one game for the year. I'm looking at Nick Watson's kicked 6. He's played a couple. Shannon Neal, he's kicked 6. Sam Darcy. I'm winning
Good
this
boys
fucking
rolling
bet,
around.
man.
Well, it's a thing we
71.
haven't had since 2008, but we've seen the scoring is up this year and seen some big boys kicking some big goals. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes.
Did
It's
you
it's a
drop a
good start,
stat on
and
me?
yeah, absolutely.
Did you just drop the 2008 that hasn't happened since?
2008 was the last time it happened. That's what I wrote when I originally shared the clip from Bold Predictions. Last time it happened was 2008 when Buddy and Fev went 103 and 99.
I haven't read the caption. It's fantastic. Drop some gospel on me there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's looking good, and you've had a decent rate in that. Like, you're right. It's been 2 rounds, but not every team has played both games of every round. There's going to be some stacks of games in the middle from round 5 to whenever the buys start, and then after those buys to the end, where every team plays every game. So it just keeps on rolling. Very intriguing.
Good at what I do.
It's
So
going to be good.
look forward to that. Well, that's it. I done. That's round 1 complete. Rolling to round 2, and let's hope we have a better week this week.
Yeah, yeah. I just want some close games. Want West Coast to win. just want to see some interesting stuff happen. You know what I mean?
I think it's beneficial that we both play on different days.
Yes. So that instead of one day being absolutely terrible, 2 can be.
And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end.
Bye, everybody. See you next
Thanks
week.
for watching. Kind of fucking pair.